All right, 2020. Are you ready for 2020? I'm getting ready for 2020. Been getting ready for a while. But the question is, are you getting ready? What do you do to get ready? A lot of people doing resolutions. A lot of people doing all kinds of different stuff. This is the year. This is their decade. We'll talk about that. So if I were to ask you, quick, without thinking, how many days are there in 2020? And you said 365. Duh, right? Then I'll say, you're wrong. Yeah, you'd be wrong if you thought that, because 2020 is a leap year. So we actually have 366 days. So if you didn't know that, it's because you haven't looked at the calendar. And that's not good, because you got to get ready. So I want to share what I'm doing to get ready and why I think that's important. Beyond something more, again, as a consultant, I deal with my clients. I wouldn't even say goals, because they're more like dreams. They're very abstract. And then all the way out to implementation, which is the logistics of it. And it is my job to say, okay, what do you want to accomplish? What are the things? And then I said, okay, I think we can do that, and this is how we do it. These are the concrete steps to make that happen. So, and that's kind of what I do all the time. So this is how I apply it. As you can tell, and we did a talk last time, one of my favorite videos on creativity and arts, the Tig banana. As you can tell, look, I'm going to talk about this in a future video, and then I also have the real 3 dimensions. That's going to be a fun one. Talking about phenomena and noumena, which this is a concept from Kant. We'll talk about that when we get there. And then even this is something I've been working on for a while, change stability paradigm. But I figured before we talk about all of that, I want to talk about 2020. What is 2020 going to be like? So about a year ago, I was in Mexico City, in El Zócalo, in a hotel, nice hotel. The Zócalo is the center of Mexico City. And what I did is I recorded myself talking through the lessons of 2018 and talking how it all went, the things that I thought I learned, the things I thought I didn't do so well, did wrong, mistakes I made, and also make some notes. So here are the notes. Also, interesting enough, I had a drink that's called a self-portrait, and they give you, took a little instantaneous picture and they gave it to you. So here's the picture of that day. This is about a year ago. And so I just listened to that a little while ago and went over my notes. And that was very illuminating. That was very like, wow. I realized that I actually made the same mistake in 2018 that I made in 2019. And so that's 2 for 2, right? And those are the kinds of things you get some feedback on. So to get ready for 2020, here's what I'm doing. So I want to go over 2019, right? And there's an exercise that we talk about in our book that's about to come out in January. I'm going to be giving the official release date finally. Good God, it's been so much work. It's been like 2 years of just work, maybe not every day, but close to every day, but surely every week. It's just been brutal. But it's coming out, and an exercise here, we call it the good, bad, the ugly. So something you could do is you could write down 3 good things that happened in 2019, 2 bad things that happened, and then 1 ugly thing that happened, right? I know what mine are, right? So I'm a little less structured than this, but this will get you started, right? And I like to confine it like that. Just pick these, right? And also figure out, this is what I'm going to do, lessons learned, right? If you can go over previous years, that's good. That's what I was doing. And then I realized, look, I have some lessons, and obviously some lessons that I didn't learn, and some lessons that show the reason that you want to do this, and the reason that you want to write it down, and the reason you want to record it, you want to make it very concrete, is because your brain will distract you. Your brain will help you forget some of these things, and then you end up making some of the same mistakes. I obviously made some of the same mistakes. So those mistakes are showing, well, maybe not a failure of character. It's not that big a deal, but maybe a weakness, and something that I need to kind of focus on, or at least find a solution, because this is not going to just solve itself, right? So anyway, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna record myself and I'm gonna talk through some of these things. I usually think about kind of physically where I am. Right, I have an injured knee that I need to get surgery on, and it's going to be a long rehab process to be able to go back to playing soccer. I have some stomach issues that are being better lately because I've been taking care of more myself, but that's also something that I kind of wear myself out because I work so much. So maybe that's what it is. So physically, I kind of take inventory. Then emotionally, I kind of take some inventory on that. How am I doing emotionally? Am I taking care of myself? Am I paying attention? Right? If you have physical pain, right? Like my knee bothers me because I tore my ACL, and so obviously that bothers me. But if emotionally something bothers you, are you doing something about it? Right? Also, right? Maybe it's just a little bit, right? But pain has this big range, right? It could just be a discomfort, or it could be excruciating. You don't want. Usually, what happens is we wait until the emotional pain is excruciating, either in the form of anxiety or depression, before we do anything. And so you want to pay attention to that. Is there something that bothers you that you could clean up? I know there's some stuff that bothers me that I can clean up, and that's what I'm going to do. So I think I take stock about that. Then I also try to remember what happened. So you start, kind of going over the year, over 20. I could write a book just on 2019. I mean, all the stuff that happened to me in 2019, in 3 continents, in different countries, several cities. Jeez, man, like if I just, think about that, and that's the process that I'm going through, to be able to digest it all and kind of take it in and really absorb it. Peter Drucker was asked one time what he thought about the School of Hard Knocks. And he said, well, I think the School of Hard Knocks is great. The problem is the dropout rate. And people were like, what? The dropout rate from the School of Hard Knocks, from life? And he says, yeah. A lot of people, are enrolled in this school, but a lot of people drop out because they don't learn the lessons. And I thought, wow, that's brilliant, because that really happens. So if you don't take time to really reminisce and to really kind of absorb it, take it in, you're not learning the lessons. Clearly, I didn't learn some lessons, and that's why I made the same mistake this year, unfortunately. So I can write it down as maybe my bad, or maybe one of them is my ugly, and then I can kind of absorb that to see if 2020 I can finally find a solution for that, because obviously something is not working. So. And then once I reminisce, I'm looking back at what I did on 2018, and then I'm looking 2019, and now we're going to do 2020. And in 2020, instead of New Year's resolutions, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I think they don't work, and I think generally people fall into 2 categories. We recorded a podcast this morning about that, which will be uploaded, which was, usually people take, they don't have any goals, so they just kind of they're just kind of amorphous cloud, and so they don't really know if they're making progress or not. But the upside is that they don't have to worry about it because they don't know if they're doing good or bad. And then the other extreme is people set these fantastical goals that are like impossible to reach, and they're both the same thing. Is, well, how can I structure things so that I don't have to do anything? So you don't want to do that. But what you want to do is, what do you think is going to happen in 2020? Right? The real test of knowing what's going on, the real proof, is to try to predict what's going to happen. And then you want to record it, you want to write it down so that you hold yourself to it, and then you can look back and see how accurate you were. Because what you want is you want to get feedback. You want to get feedback on what your good, your bad, and uglies are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what things that never work and they're always difficult, and that you might need to find a different solution for them. So, all in all, I think this is a great exercise to get going. I already have January mapped out, February mapped out. I'm going over March and see what it is. I have some things that are going to be happening in July, regardless of what happens. And then we're just going to be pushing for the book, as well as starting another business venture. So it's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and I'm excited and I'm ready. And I'm on a Saturday night. I'm working on this because, hey, you got to get ready for 2020. The beginning of the decade, maybe. Some people say maybe it's not. Maybe it's because there's no year zero, right? So it wouldn't be. But it's a different denominator. So maybe we are in the 20s, and this is a new roaring 20s, and this is the time to do something. And at least psychologically, it feels like, hey, it's something important. Let's get things together. And by doing this, I think this is really going to help kind of structure my mind and where things are going to go. I look forward probably seeing doing another video probably next year. So see you next year. See you next decade perhaps, and let's get ready to 2020.